Let's go get into it here. Let's get into it. I hope you guys had a good break. I've got some retail names to talk about. Some of the top 10 in the S&P, the usual, right? Usual names. And I've got the most anticipated silver metals and what I'm looking at. It's a little bit different than silver and gold. That's a commodity. Before I do so, come over to ZTRADEZ.net, check out our terms and conditions page, read our disclaimers. If you don't agree, don't watch the video. And if you do agree, feel free to watch the video. Check out the community in the description below, as well as the newsletter. Let's go ahead and get into it. I'll get on metals in a second. Trust me, I got a lot to say. So it's early, so I can ramble for a bit here. Nike, bounce off the volume shelf, retest, target overall in the next couple weeks here when I'm eyeing 72. Watching Nike, IV's low. I've got the divergence indicator up. I need to remove that. That's a monthly chart though. Weekly doesn't really look that good. Daily is bouncing real hard here. I don't know. I wasn't looking at it. It's hard to look at everything. We've got a little bit of resistance around 61. If we could clear that volume shelf, my next target would be right here, filling this gap. And that volume shelf around 65. Target, man, have I been bag holding shares since when? When did I originally get in this thing? It was like over where? It was like over here, 104. I thought we were at a bottom there, and I added. And I've been selling covered calls on it. We were up a decent amount at one point. When was that? Was it May? It was somewhere. It was either here. It was somewhere in here. I've been in for a long time. I think it was around here. I added here and was up for a little bit, and it had that massive drop. That was bad. PDE looked good. Dividend was there. So I viewed it as a long-term investment, selling covered calls on it. My dollar cost average is now sub 100. So I've gotten a decent amount of premium back, and I'm selling another covered call on it. Overall, looks fine. I really liked it at those levels. It was just a waiting game. We take a look at the weekly. We can see the RSI divergence. As this was dropping lower, RSI was going higher. The RSI indicator down here was firing off. MACD was rising. PT1, I would say this lower volume area right here, around 119 on target. Amazon, I called this out before the break. I didn't have time to trade since I was traveling. Let's go ahead and turn this off. We don't really need MACD up. Let's go ahead and turn chats off to see this. And let's go over here. Now, I had highlighted on my phone, which was awful, charting at night, trying to trade Uno Dos Trace, and the fact I liked that we respected the volume shelf because it sucked up. So buyers were there. It sucked up. And I got in that, and I'm still in it, and it had a decent pop. So Amazon is up, and I am holding it. I've only trimmed a little bit. We had a trend line as well. You want 3 taps. There was the third. Third tap, if it respects it and starts to suck up, it's by definition a trend line. And we had 4. Now, unfortunately, I didn't see it over here. Or I would have gambled. I would have bet with a good probability that we would have sucked up, but it already happened. That would have been the good entry down there at 221. It's at 233. Things up. Would have been up $12. But I entered here around 226. I think I have to go back and look, but I am up on it, and I'm still in calls, and I'm gonna hold into January. Nvidia, I called the crap out of that. I call that. I saw that hammer there. I was like, that's gonna go. That's gonna go. That's a weekly chart here. Let's jump over to a daily. Oh, come on, my mug's in the way. There's the daily. I got in this right around here, 178, 179. And we had a high of 192. I think it was, or it was over in here, 183. We had a high of 193, basically almost 193. I was watching the RSI as well here. I'm in that. I mean, I only have 2 left. They went from 775-ish to 1220-ish and some change. I got out just below that. I have 2 left. I mean, it's going to be really hard for me to lose at this point with the amount of profit that I've made on this. PT will be right around here, 198. I'm going to hold that. These are for March. I've got time. I didn't have time to day trade on the trip, so I just had to chart some good swings and sit in them. Didn't even really check it. And they're doing well. All I got in was Amazon and NVIDIA. Let's go ahead and take a look at, well, before I do so, I haven't looked at Google prior to making this video. Usually I don't want to waste everyone's time. Google looks, if that wants to suck above around 314.80ish, that could really go. We got that volume shelf. We clear 318. That thing can just fly to ATH. Let's take a look at the weekly here. Weekly here closed a hammer the prior week, and this is an outside bar above that hammer. That looks good. We had filled that gap there, so I'm expecting higher. I'm in equity on that, so I'm just going to hold it. Before I jump into the most anticipated, okay, and what metals I'm going to be, it's too late on silver and gold. I'm sorry. For short-term stuff, you guys are experienced, and you want to risk it, sure. Do your thing. I'm already in. I've been in. In fact, I've been in a very long time. And why don't I pull that up? I'm taking a look at Tesla real quick here. It's not really telling me anything daily. Okay. GLD. All right. GLD. Let's take a look at a weekly. RSI peaked. RSI lower. We're higher. We don't have any signs of reversal yet. Could still possibly go. Now, everyone all of a sudden wants to get in now, just like every time. Everyone got in on NFTs at the top, which weren't a thing to begin with. I don't care what anyone says. I never bought that. I just was like, I mean, I'm sorry, man. No. Crypto, yeah. NFTs, sure, for tulip trading. All of you who are traders, go research a classic bubble. Dutch tulips. Go learn history. Maybe I'll do some videos on that. I thought it was fascinating. This stuff is like it's cool to me. I wasn't watching videos just like, hurry up, give me a play and make money. I thought this stuff was cool. All right, go search that. Here's picture number 1. Oh my goodness. Oh, what did I buy gold at? In 2021? It's buying an ounce like every month or two. I'm going to be selling all of this. Oh, goody gumdrops. 1953 an ounce. We're heading to 5,000. Right? There's picture number 1. Let's take a look at I've got tons of these. I don't have time to do all this. Half ounce, 1,023. Half ounce now is like 2,500. The smaller the fraction, the higher the premium. I was buying grams of gold for $71 with like no premium. I'm like, how is this guy making any money? Funny thing is, in my entrepreneurship program during the pandemic, I told a guy to make a gold, we were just quick project. Let's make a company, right? And I was like, well, one that I think would work is buying small fractions of gold because there's a high premium on it. And you can make money on the spread. And the guy canned the idea. Really cool guy. He was a German guy. He wanted to do something else. But everyone in entrepreneurship and the entrepreneurship program thought you have to be like Albert Einstein. You have to like invent something. It's like, no, you actually don't need to do that. You could be a plumber, right? And they didn't emphasize that enough in the program. I got my MS University of Tampa in that. And I said, you could, and I'm like, why don't I do this? What if I just forked like 20 grand into gold grams? I'm not losing any money. If I had done that at the time, they were around $70. They're like 200 now. I haven't even checked. I know they're around 200. Last time I looked, they're like 150, 160. That was like 3 months ago. Right? And I could just sell them and jack the spread up and make money on the spread if the price wasn't moving. Right? I could have done that. A very, easy business that I could have started. At this point, no, I wouldn't do that. Absolutely not. So, this stuff was so easy. Why was I doing this? I have tons of pictures like this. I'm not going to go through and black out everything and all that stuff, my number and blah, blah, blah. But when we do quantitative tightening, the dollar goes up, metals run inverse the dollar. Okay. And, at this time, gold had already priced in the QE cuts. We did them all at once. They weren't going to cut anymore. So it priced in and it ran for a very short period of time, like 3 months, 4 months. And gold peeled off. And I was like, okay, I started slowly getting in. And then quantitative tightening came and gold plummeted. And I'm like, when they start cutting, we're not going to be in QT forever. We got QE coming. I'll do a separate video on this. I went heavy, silver and gold, and I'm selling next week, probably tomorrow. But we've got some bearish divergence. How do you tell we're at a top? A candlestick pattern, or divergence? Doesn't mean we're at the absolute top, but it sure. I mean, this is high on. Look at this. This is as high as RSI has ever gotten. Anytime we had high RSI like that, we drop for a whole almost a year here, and then look at that RSI going lower as it's going higher. I mean, it had divergence the whole time. High RSI right here, we peeled off. There's the quantitative tightening. Selling all my gold, a lot of it, and my silver tomorrow. But I mean, look at this, and people are going to go long up here. Where were you guys over here? There was a cup and handle on it. I wrote an article. We're going to do a separate video on how to identify this stuff. And I wrote an article predicting that we would go to 4,500 on gold by 2026. It's 2026 in like 3 days. We're at 4,700 an ounce. I have it time. There's a date timestamp of when I wrote this article. Right? I am tooting my own horn. But it was easy. The Fed gives you the cheat sheet. But people are going, you're going to go long there? There? That's where you're going long? Where were you? Where was everyone over here? Look, I even have it. I haven't edited this. I charted this. I charted that and haven't edited it before it broke out. I was a little bit early on some stuff. Let's go ahead and take a look at, where is it? The RSI divergence. There's no divergence on the monthly. It was down here. And every time this thing fired off on the monthly, that COVID dip, $10 to 26. You know, quantitative tightening over here, that drop, look at that into 2022, heading into 2023, right? Which is where I wrote the article right here. When we had this, look at that, 23 bucks. Look at that long that candle is. I mean, come on. It could sure go higher. Do I think silver will go a little bit higher? I do. But do I want it here? I'm already in it. I've been in it. I just showed you guys screenshots of where I bought gold under sub 2,000 an ounce. Okay, CPER. This is what I may want to get in. I may want to get in this. Now, copper's more abundant. It's easier to mine. It's not as hard to refine as it is gold and silver. From what AI taught me, I just tried to go to Home Depot and buy a whole bunch of copper spools. I learned everything about the gauges. You want the thickest gauge. But it's not like you can go to a coin shop where they give you spot. You got to go to a scrapper. They give you 30% below spot. So right off the bat, you're paying 15% above spot. You get cooked anywhere from 15 to 30% below spot. That could be almost a 50% loss right off the bat. It would have to run like 50% before you break even. You know, you needed to run like 150%. So it's like, why wouldn't I just buy that? You know, I wanted to do something cool. Load up my cart, film it, take pictures. You know, it's entertaining to me. It's really smart. I could just buy it here and sell covered calls on it too. But I remember this drop. I should have loaded. But I think that copper could go more. That's a monthly chart. Let's take a look at a weekly chart. Where was I? Oh, on the volume shelf. If I had pulled that up there, man. Oh, no. Talk about a ball fumble. Talk about a ball fumble. Now it's double topping. RSI is lower, but it isn't higher, so that makes sense. Daily chart. Oh, man. Thursday to there. Even if you had options, you did really well there. Copper could go higher. FCX is another favorite. I may get copper. We'll see. Here's what I think I'm going to do with my plan. There's going to be a pullback at some point. On that pullback, if it looks like we're going to curl up and push, that's where I'm going to probably get some copper or one more silver play for short-term options. But I mean, I really can't. I mean, guys, this is reminding me, like, let's look at the RSI here on the monthly on silver. There's as high as it was. What happened afterwards? It went into Drillville from April 2011 and then bottomed in 2020, like 9 years. It went into a 9-year bear market after that. If I pulled up futures, which I can on here, I can on, I'll do that in a second. I'll see if I can skew the charts with toss back here. We'll make this smaller. Let me go ahead and do that. So, I mean, you want me to really go long up there? I mean, that's just ridiculous. I got to obey the rules. I'm not playing that game. This is reminding me when Bitcoin was going from like 18 to 20K. The whole world was talking about it and they all got cooked. Then they ignored it when it was bearish. Like everyone ignored metals when it was bearish, when you knew QE was coming. Right? If the video cuts off, I ran out of time for my storage here. I need more storage. So just that's the end of the video. It may just look weird, but you know, when retail's getting in, you know, everyone's talking about it everywhere. It's usually a top. China may try to manipulate this through derivatives and push this higher. We already had to do some QE for some of the banks that were in shorts. Why are they? Well, I can understand why they'd be shorting it here, but why would you be short here ahead of QE? Fire everyone that did that. Crazy. Unless they're doing it for a reason. I don't know. With the government, I don't know. I have no idea. Guys, everyone watch ASPC for a pop. Small cap, Alpha, Sandy, Papa, Charlie tomorrow. Let's take a look at silver futures, okay? Let's go way back. And I mean way, way back. Every candlestick being 1 year of movement, okay? Again, every candlestick being 1 year of movement, a yearly chart. And I had pointed this out, that we pretty much had a cup and handle. And I was like, is anyone talking about this anywhere? Anywhere? 2 years ago. I posted it in the chat. I wish I had written an article. I may have. I'll look through some of my articles. I was like, there's a cup and handle on this thing. Then the handle was a cup and handle. I mean, it was predicting something wild. I've been watching that gold cup and handle, and I'm like, this is predicting something's going to fire off here. Back in 2022, I was like, something wild's going to happen. We're not going to get inflation under control. I'm going to be forced into QE. QE is going to be heavy. The higher China pushes metals, the more faster we're probably going to have to do QE. If it ends up cooking a lot of banks, they should cover their shorts. If they cover their shorts, we're going to go higher. And I can see why they'd want to hold here. Look at that 1, 2, 3 right there. 2015 predicted a bottom, 13 to 20. That was great profit. Great place to put money, but time's money. You're sitting in that 9 years, could have been in NVIDIA. Okay. Currency crisis over here. We tore all the way to 50. That's when we depegged from, we depegged from the dollar, right? Every time silver, I want you guys to see this. 100% of the time, silver ripped vertically. What happened afterwards? Did it just keep going forever? I mean, if I had bought right there and held it from 1980, I wasn't even alive yet. I would have just gotten my bread back 31 years later, okay? In 2011, what is that? 31. And then I wouldn't have been profitable. Gosh, it would have taken 40. I'm not even 45 years old. And people are looking for long-term investments here. It's FOMO, guys. It's FOMO. It can absolutely go higher. Things can break. China's pushing it. I saw China buying metals. I saw QE coming. And I was like, China's dumping treasuries. This was everywhere, all over the news. QE's coming. Inflation isn't coming under control. We're starting wars and restricting oil, causing CPI to rip when we're under Biden. You know, they're pushing this higher through derivatives. So, and then we're having heavy QE and inflation isn't necessarily fully under control yet. Wild stuff can happen, but it may be short term. It may be short term. You know, there's going to be a pullback in here somewhere. And the next week or two, there's going to be a pullback. If this wants to keep running, I give it 2 weeks max. Could it keep running after the pullback? Sure. But people are trying. I'm literally talking to people, random people. They know I'm into investing and all this stuff that are looking to buy for a long-term investment. What if you did that there? What if you did that there? You lost like 98%. They did QT right here. You know, this was inflation running mad. They didn't have QE. They went into some QE, but we depegged from the dollar. It was different. And then we did heavy QT under Volcker, who chain smoked inside doing 5-point cuts. He would chief and he'd be submerged in a cloud. We'd be like, we're hiking the Fed rate 5 points, right? That's what we hiked it in total. He did it in one meeting. Bro had cojones, right? This is more similar to the run we have now. Obama got in. Bush didn't pay attention to anything. Obama did stimulus right as he got in, and metals ran, right? We started doing QE, but the whole market tanked. Everything went with the market, just like silver and gold did with the market during COVID, which you could see on the previous charts. Then we had violent QE. It priced in basically 6 years of QE, all in like a year and a half, right? And this run was way heavier. This was a slower run than this one was. What's happening here? It's pricing in wild QE on top of China manipulating it through derivatives, stepping it up higher and higher, forcing our banks to cover as they bought it up and sold and dumped our treasuries 2 years ago, right? But this is similar to this, and it ran for about a year and a half. This is ran for a year. Basically started running here, 21 to 20, it's not a 34, yeah. We've been running for a minute, okay? Let's go to a weekly chart. We started running right back here, June of last year, okay? Yeah, June, July. No, is that this year? This is this year. Let me go ahead and hold on here. Yeah, we started to run in May of 2024, but that wasn't really a run. We really started to run basically in May 2025. Yeah, so May next year is when we get a new Fed chair. I predict that metals are pricing in before it happens, because that's how the market works. It doesn't wait. Just like we ripped during COVID, while everything was still shut down and everyone was confused, it was pricing in that we wouldn't be shut down forever, right? So China can do its manipulation and whatever. Silver could go to, we're already at 82 on SI. We could end up going to, let's see where we're at right now. I'd have to pull some fibs up, but this is a wild pop. We could end up going to 90, maybe 100. There's articles everywhere. It could go to 200. Its real value is 1,000. And you're like, just like they said, Bitcoin would go to $1 million every year. And then when there was like 3 months left in the year, back in like 2017, 2018, it moved in cycles. Silver does not just trend up like gold does. Okay. Let's pull up GC real quickly here before I run out of time. Let's go to a yearly chart. That's a little bit different with gold, but here we are in the 80s. This always went higher, but this is a bit different. 260 from basically 125. Had that big pop, the Volcker pop over, or the DPEG from the dollar, then quantitative tightening, and it smacked it, but it took till the, post.com over in here. I don't want to go into history, but we had the dot-com crash. They tore interest rates down. And again, gold moves the opposite of the dollar, which interest rates dropping, the Fed rate dropping makes the dollar go down. Metals run inverse. Learn that, guys. The Fed gives you the cheat sheet to the test. And you had 3 years of warning to get in. And people are buying for long-term investments here. Physical here, really, you're going to pay the highest premium. You got to do paper. And because there's going to be a day of reckoning at some point here. Charts just don't run like that forever. It sure as heck could. Sure as heck could for maybe 3 more months. I don't see this being a forever thing and people are acting like that. Short term, absolutely. Have fun. Do your thing. Long term, I don't know about that. Gold could make another good one here, but silver, I give it 2 weeks and we're going to have a day of reckoning here at some point. 2 weeks. Unless it wants to have decent pullbacks and run back up again, decent pullbacks. But this is those people that are in my opinion, it's profit taking time. Those of you that have been in since you listened to the Fed. So copper, I'm going to be watching. Platinum, it's too late. It's already making its run. It could still have higher. Lithium as well. Lithium and copper may have some room to run here. So watch list and my view of silver and gold. And what metals I'm eyeing, okay? Amazon, Nvidia already in those. Google, I expect to go higher. Target, I'm already in that. I expect it to go higher. Nike looks fantastic long term here. Maybe some equity or some options. And January should be a boom month, in my opinion. And February bear as usual if January is a very, very bull month, which is coming up here on Wednesday. So keep your eyes peeled. Let's see what happens. I have my popcorn right now ready, and we'll see what happens with metals here going forward. If you guys like this content, make sure to like and follow for more.